I finally finished Days Gone. Holy cow, that took so long. Days Gone is an interesting title. If you don't know what it is, it's the first PlayStation exclusive to be brought over to PC. That's why I'm talking about it now. It's on Steam. It's a third-person zombie apocalypse shooter set in Oregon 2 years after the zombie outbreak happens. You play as Deacon St. John, which is a really weird name, driving around on your motorcycle, avoiding giant hordes of zombies, or actually confronting them and killing them all. But that's actually kind of what's crazy about Days Gone, and its, I'd say, main selling point is the fact that they can put like 600 zombies on screen at a time without slowing down your computer. Unless you have an AMD graphics card like me and it's shitty. But the game has some pretty amazing aspects to it. It's beautiful, it's a great setting, it's got smooth animations, great gun sounds, but it's not the all-star classics that PlayStation tends to release, like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us, my favorite game. There's so many great games that PlayStation comes out with, and I just don't think this is like the next one. It does a lot right, but just in the wrong places. Let's begin with the motorcycle. It's a hallmark of the game, and it's really fun to drive. I haven't had this much fun driving a motorcycle since MX vs ATV Untamed. It's so smooth, you feel totally in control, punching the gas, drifting,
Nope.
hearing that engine roar, which is kind of interesting and weird because you're probably asking, why does everyone drive motorcycles in this game? Isn't that like the loudest vehicle besides a NASCAR that we could drive around in a game that has a huge emphasis on the amount of noise you produce to not alert massive numbers of zombies chasing after you? This is a great question, and this is not explained. It's just weird. There's like 6 million broken down cars on the road, but literally everybody drives a chopper. Like, is the story set in the same place they shot Orange County Choppers?
What the? Well, I don't know what you want from me.
You do get to customize your bike, which is pretty cool. Even as the guy that like typically spends way too much time customizing their character or their vehicle and not enough time playing the game, I liked my choices. And I actually was a fan of the fuel system in this game. Like, usually you're just following your waypoint the whole game, but if you needed gas, it would take you off on a different path, and maybe you could find something new, like, I don't know, a crazy melee weapon on the ground or something.
Hell yeah, man.
And you wouldn't have found that if you just went straight to the waypoint and didn't have to focus on that. I will say, it does kind of suck when you're like 20 miles away from a gas station and you have to walk your bike about, I don't know, 2 hours to a gas station. I can see that sucking. Now, one part of the game that's in the whole game, unfortunately, is the characters. There's a bunch of main characters in the story, and they're so poorly written and acted, and so stereotypical. You have aggro dude, super nervous guy, old man, man with scar, badass girl who's good with kids, love interest, who's also a badass,
And then she threw me down on the ground, tried to break my goddamn arm.
grandma, rapper guy.
Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
And the only characters that are like tolerable in this game are like these. Notice that I didn't include the main f***ing character, Deacon St. John. And let me just say real quick, like every other character in this game is the super nervous guy stereotype. Like always stuttering over their words the entire time while talking to Deacon, cause Deacon's so badass and scary.
If I don't hear from you, I'm gonna track you down. And I'm gonna do a lot worse than snap off an antenna.
And just Deacon, man, Deacon is just such a out there character.
And you know it.
Are you sure this isn't personal?
Yeah, it's personal.
He's so unrelatable.
Shut up, shut up, shut up.
Like, do you remember Joel in The Last of Us? Of course you do. Why? Because you loved him. Just like me. Joel was a freaking 30-year-old contractor, regular dude. Zombie outbreak happens. His daughter dies. 20 years pass to harden this motherfucker's heart to commit vicious acts of violence to survive. I felt for him every time he almost died or almost lost Ellie or smashed a dude's face in with a brick. And Deacon, I'm like, you have a best friend, you guys live in a watchtower, your wife is dead, you guys just want to go north. Which, by the way, what's different north a couple of miles? Like, isn't everywhere infested with zombies? Everywhere sucks. And the story from the get-go is just so weak. And then you go and meet the people in the game. Of course, everyone's angry that you meet. Everybody.
I don't give a shit.
What the f*** are you up to?
What is your problem?
All right,
See?
enough.
Steal our supplies. You attack it, you can't. Mike, listen to me.
The first cutscene's always, you didn't. Whatever. There are so many lines in this game that are just so stereotypical. Just like,
Hey, Deke, Thank you.
Don't tell me how to run my camp.
I know how to shoot a gun.
It's a rifle, not a gun.
What the does that mean? It's just such lazy writing. And I know I'm probably beating a dead horse, but there's just so many cliche moments. Like, of course, when Deacon, like, kills a zombie the first time in the game, he, like, keeps killing it and, like, smashing its head in after it's clearly dead, and somebody has to pull him off and be like, hey, man, it's dead. And the freaking love interest in this game, which is your wife who's dead, and, like, there'll be times where you remember when you guys first met. Oh, it's so lovely and amazing. Except it's the most boring part of the game because it's that classic gameplay element of you just following a character with your analog stick pressed forward.
Now this is gameplay.
Listening to the most cringy dialogue between these two soulmate lovebirds, which are totally meant for each other and not totally awkward and weird.
I'll show you what you're looking for.
Yep, found it.
And bring me 3 plants.
Why 3? Just end this cutscene right now.
Wow, gallantry is alive and feral after all.
It's not. We can kill him.
Hey! Aww.
How have games not learned that this is the wrong way to do this? Also, I don't get why the cutscenes in this game look so bad. They have like this weird fade in, fade out part of each part of the story, and it looks really poorly put together and disorganized. And I do want to call out a specific part of the story, which, spoiler alert, and by the way, you're not even going to care about this spoiler because you're not going to care about any of the characters. Your wife is actually alive, and you end up finding her. Now, if you found your wife after 2 years of killing hundreds of zombies, people, everything that you can imagine in the way to get to her, how would you react when you found her? Would you guys leap into each other's arms, make out, fall in love as soon as you can, go have sex somewhere? Or would you just say, I thought you were dead, kiss once, and then let her give you a clipboard and say, go find this thing for me. Bye.
Thank you, soldier.
I was brimming with rage when this happened. There's actually an interesting storyline in the game, at least I found it interesting, was this whole like neuroscientists that study zombies. And if you've played the game, you're like, what, those missions sucked. Yes, they did. It's literally just you eavesdropping in a bush for like 20 minutes at a time. But I thought the story was at least kind of interesting, how it's like these scientists were studying these zombies that were giving off clues that they had consciousness.
Picking up scat samples.
And that was so interesting. I was like, oh, does that mean it's gonna be like I Am Legend or something? The book, where it's like, oh, actually they're evolving and becoming a greater race than the human race. No, they don't mean that. They just mean that you're gonna be fighting a hairy zombie later.
Did it die over here? Jeez.
There's also just some unbelievability in the game. Like, I hate how every post-apocalyptic game nowadays has to have the overtly religious cult with like the cutting all over them and like sinner. And there's just thousands of people that would do this. What? I get like a couple of guys getting together and cutting their skin up and doing this, but it's like there's an army of rippers out there. Like who after the third guy was like, hey, cutting my skin this many times hurts like I'm not gonna do this, see ya. Here's another problem, and I'm realizing I'm not saying a lot of good things about this game so far, but here's a reason why, is the game is so long. I had to endure so much bullshit to get to the end. It'd be one thing if the game had its hooks in me, or if I cared about one character, or if like I gotta fight hordes for more than 12% of the game. Hordes are awesome. They look insane, and it was terrifying the first time you see one accidentally.
Holy.
Because you don't find a horde in the story until like, I think 80% into the game.
Oh shit. It's crazy the feeling that Horde gives off, man. It really is like scary as shit.
You only fight like 2 or 3 story-driven hordes. So basically, the coolest part of the game doesn't kick in until I played the game for 40 hours. 35 hours in, killing a horde is intense as hell. Depending on where you fight it, you can fight a horde in like a small town and just be like running through alleyways and doorways, and the zombies will just follow you right to your heels. And they literally feels like you're being followed by like a tsunami, like a wave. The water goes in any creek and crevice that it can. If you're going up, they come up. If you're going down, they go down every which way they want, and they'll freaking intersect and find you in the center of it. Some of the fights last so long, and it's just like your heart is pounding the entire time because you can't stop moving or you will die very quickly.
No.
It just doesn't make sense. It's like, why did you not incorporate the horde in like every single fight? I know that it could probably get old to an extent, but you didn't need to save it for the last 3 hours of gameplay. You know, the game isn't all bad. In the beginning, it's really intense. You feel like you're surviving. You're low on ammo all the time. You're low on supplies. Fighting zombies is actually like a threat. Like, you don't know if you can take more than 2 or 3 at a time because your weapons just break so easily. You're weak. You're not like this one-man army that you become where you can take on a camp of 40 survivors and just kill them all no problem and then go fight a horde right after without even stopping to heal. So much of the combat in this game is so easy. Like, fighting humans, especially once you unlock the focus ability, is just like, all right, here's 6 guys in front of you. Let me just basically deadeye. Boom, 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 boom. Problem solved. If you're going to be an arcadey game, make it about those elements, like the hordes, fighting thousands of zombies at a time. That's really cool. That wasn't a huge part of Days Gone. It is now at the end of the game when the story's over, and now it's like, all right, now go kill the hordes the rest of the game. It's like, why didn't we do this the entire game? This is so fun. I don't know. I will say there is some like other cool things, like the gun sounds are amazing. Like, I don't know why the gun sounds are like on par with basically Battlefield. It's like you're freaking in a Michael Mann movie. It sounds so good.
Yo, homie.
This is a nitpick, but it's a positive pick. A pit dick. No. The melee animations are freaking awesome and get really graphic, which I kind of like in a zombie game.
Lay it into him. Come on.
Overall, I think it was a well-executed game and a well-executed port to PC, and I'm glad that it's there. But I just think that Days Gone left a lot on the table and kind of just settled to be an ordinary game in the end of the day. By the way, I just watched Girlfriend Review's review of Days Gone, and they actually picked on the bugs of this game a lot. And honestly, I didn't run into like any bugs at all in this game. And that was just my experience. I know that can happen with a lot of people. Like, my friend played Cyberpunk with no problems whatsoever, but I tried to play Cyberpunk and my guy's dick wouldn't stop showing every cutscene. Isn't it interesting how these games are led by like AAA studios? It's like the more people you add, the harder it is to land on a concise decision to do this one thing and do it well. It's like everybody has to get their ideas in, and then it just becomes this kind of like mundane, boring thing that everybody has to agree on, and it's not something special. Thank you guys for watching if you did and got to this point. Give it a like if you liked the video. Subscribe if you really are committed and you're like, this guy, he just nails it every single time. And hopefully you catch me on my next one. All right, see you guys. Bye.
Can I do this with these guys? Like, will they go after it? They will?